All right, everybody. Good morning. Hope you guys are doing well today. It is Tuesday. We are now in the middle of the bye week officially. The bye week that Seattle has worked very hard to earn in the 2025 season. So now we get to chill out and watch other teams in the playoffs. Obviously, that means there's going to be less to talk about this week, but we got plenty of stuff to get through, like, for instance, Youth Watch Tuesday. So, you guys know the drill by now. We take a look at all the players on the Seahawks that are on rookie contracts or an equivalent, and we basically just talk about how they did in the most recent game and how they're doing over the course of the season. It's just an estimation of how good a job Seattle is doing of getting mileage out of their young players, which is very important. So, once again, for the billionth week in a row, nothing to talk about with Jalen Milroe because he was inactive, so we can move right past that. All right, guys, let's take a minute so I can tell you about Sleeper, a one-stop shop for all your sports needs. You can celebrate and chat on sports games in real time with other users. You can get the fastest scores, blazing fast sports news and sports alerts right at your fingertips. And of course, you can use Sleeper to play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. This is the way sports were meant to be enjoyed together. So download Sleeper today. Use promo code SBN to get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. And you can pair that with another promo they have right now where you can get a $20 entry free with no deposit required. So get both of those things going. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states and growing. So check out Sleeper today. Get to it and go have some fun with sports this year. Okay, so running back wise, this was Ken Walker's best year. This was the best year of Ken Walker's career. The only reason why anybody would dispute that, I think, would be the touchdowns. And the touchdowns didn't disappear, they just went to a different running back. So Ken Walker, about 250 touches, which is a great number for him, by the way. 1,300 yards, 5 touchdowns, elite PFF grade, 88.4, one of the highest graded running backs in football. So great year for Walker, contract year, played every game, was there for us when we needed him, had big games and big moments. He was great. And I say that as somebody that isn't the biggest Ken Walker fan in the world, although I think I like him more than a lot of Seahawks fans these days. I'm not sure. Feels like people are a little all over the place with him. And Charbonnet had a good game and a good season as well. It took a little bit longer for him to get going, but almost 900 yards. And 12 touchdowns is no joke either, by the way. That puts him up there with the best seasons that Marshawn Lynch had in terms of getting into the end zone. And by the way, Pro Football Focus grade, also very good. I believe Walker and Charbonnet are both in the top 5 of Pro Football Focus grading for running backs. And in a way, this has ultimately kind of, I would say at least partially, proven that John Schneider had the right idea when he used back-to-back second-round picks on these guys in 2022 and 2023, because the idea was that eventually their prodigious levels of talent would override the fact that there was not a ton of great stuff happening in front of them on the offensive line. And for a few seasons, it seemed like that wasn't really going to pan out. But this year, where the offensive line, I think, has been pretty inconsistent, you've seen how valuable these guys have been. We've got well over 2,000 yards combined from these two guys, almost 2,200 yards and 17 touchdowns. That's pretty good given the fact that I think over the course of the season, if you looked at our offensive line run blocking, you'd say it's about average. So it worked out really well. I will say that it is too bad that it took until the end of Walker's rookie deal to fully unlock this stuff, because this is the first year Walker's averaged more than 5 yards a touch. But it might not be his last year as a Seahawk. We'll just have to see. Robbie Oots did play a good amount against the Niners, and I thought he actually played a pretty good game. On the year, he wasn't particularly effective, but he's a rookie, kind of sort of playing a new position, so it's not surprising. I think he'll get better. I believe in him long term, but didn't happen as much as we wanted it to this year. Okay, wide receivers, JSN, another good game for him, and he ends the season the favorite to win Offensive Player of the Year. Over 1,800 yards, 126 offensive touches, double-digit touchdowns, 92.8 PFF grade. He's as good as it gets, man. Best season any Seahawks wide receiver has ever had by a long shot. Very, very special stuff here. And I do wish we had managed to get him the ball a little bit more at the end of the year so he could have challenged the all-time record, could have challenged 2,000 yards, but at the same time, this team needs to concern itself with playing winning football, and winning football isn't just throwing it to JSN on every play, as fun as that can be sometimes. Bobo did play a little bit in that game, but he didn't really do himself any favors. His most memorable play in that game was blowing a pretty easy block. So he concludes a very forgettable season that will probably be his last in Seattle. I have to believe that there's going to be a desire to get somebody a little bit more intriguing. AJ Barner had a couple of catches, not a lot of production in this game, but we did deprive him the ability to do a excuse me, a barnyard sneak on first and goal from the 1. That probably would have warranted him a touchdown, so not all his fault. You got to put him in positions to succeed. And he concludes a really good second year, man. Remember, this team doesn't throw the ball very much, so for him to have 500 yards and 7 total touchdowns and provide value on the barnyard play, it is actually a really impressive thing. Because, again, when this team threw, and they didn't throw very often, they mostly threw it to JSN. So there's not a lot to pick up from what's left. And Barner, he picked up a lot. So really excited to see where his career is going. By the way, he's not that far away from becoming the best tight end in Seahawks franchise history. There's not a lot more he has to do. It's not exactly a high bar to clear, but that is something that can happen in the very near future here. Elijah Arroyo didn't play, of course, neither did Torrey Horton. They both conclude rookie campaigns that are, I mean, obviously not super high volume, but it is worth noting that Torrey Horton had 5 touchdowns plus 1 on special teams. So there was still value there. Even if it wasn't everything we wanted it to be, it was still probably more than you would have expected from a 5th rounder, for sure. And Arroyo, kind of the other side of that, but again, he might be coming back for the playoffs. It's not the last you've heard of Elijah Arroyo. All right. Offensive line, we got to get rid of Charles Cross now, guys, because he's not on his rookie deal anymore. Although, I guess if you want to be pedantic, he's still making rookie deal money for the time being, but he's been extended. So we don't actually have to include him in this segment anymore because he ain't on that rookie deal. Now, for the moment, I guess we can continue to have him here, but it doesn't matter because he didn't play. Gray Zabel, on the other hand, played the best game of his career. No penalties, no pressures. His grades skyrocketed. And the fact that they're still pretty low is kind of, it is a little bit of a statement about how low his grades were before that game, but it is also a statement that he's headed in the right direction. Remember, he was also graded well in that Panthers game. And seeing improvement and development from him is very, very important. And I would say that we have definitely seen that. Sundell also played a great game against the 49ers. A lot of people called him out positively. Maybe his best game of the year. I don't know. Clean, well graded. And he ends the season with a PFF grade at about 65. Now, I don't want to shy away from the desire to upgrade the offensive line in the offseason. This is tough, though. Jalen Sundell, not only is he showing improvement, but he is a great scheme fit, and he's a great fit next to Gray Zabel in particular. So if there's an opportunity to go get a guy like a Linderbaum this offseason, then you have to at least try. But I'm going to say this, Jalen Sundell in 2026 is almost definitely going to be better than any rookie that you can get, especially in this pretty weak draft class for centers. And when you combine that with the fit, I could definitely see Sundell being the guy for 2026, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing either. Just something to think about here because he has shown that he fits in very well with what we do. And remember, he didn't even play the whole season. He got injured and he missed time. So there's something to be said for what Jalen Sundell has shown. Anthony Bradford, not a clean game for him, not graded very well, gave up some pressures. His grades remain near the bottom of Pro Football Focus for his position. I still think that there has been improvement, and I still think that this team likes him, but when he messes up, it is about as bad as it gets. And he had a couple mess ups in that Niners game as well. So it's not like he was showing it wasn't like a Gray Zabel level of, oh wow, this guy's finally turning it around. And by the way, we're in January now. Why is he not in better shape? How is it possible for Anthony Bradford to not be in better shape in January when he's been practicing every week and playing in football games, 17 times now plus preseason? Like, how is that a thing? I don't understand it. But in fairness to him, the highs are high. They are. I don't want to take that away from him. Okay, so Oluwatimi did not play, and he concludes a pretty forgettable but not terrible third year in the NFL. Moving on to the defense now, Byron Murphy played a good game against the Niners, picked up a handful of tackles, didn't do a lot as a pass rusher necessarily, and given the fact that he was at 7 sacks several games ago, some people are going to be a little bit annoyed that he wasn't able to pad out his numbers a little bit more, but great year. Remember, he's playing some of his snaps at the nose tackle or one eye, or some people call it two eye, however you want to qualify it, or one tech or two eye tech or whatever they want to call it these days. So that's going to negatively affect his play and negatively affect his grade, but he's still doing a really good job in there. So Byron Murphy, 72.4, playing some of his snaps out of position. The guy is playing great football. Guy's very special. And 62 tackles from a guy playing his position, great. Not much to say about Mike Morris. He had an adequate year for a rotational backup, playing some on the edge, playing some on the line. And there's not much to say except he shouldn't be anything more than that, but he does occasionally show that he belongs in the NFL. And, that's all you need to be sometimes. Linebacker, obviously, Tyrese Knight had a bumpy season. His liability in pass coverage was to the point where he got basically benched. But don't give up on Tyrese Knight for the long term. He is, I think, a player with potential. And I think that he wasn't able to get past the injury he had in the offseason this year. I would expect Tyrese Knight to, at some point in his career, become a starter again. Maybe it won't be here. Maybe it won't be next year. But I do think Tyrese Knight has starter potential in this league. Don't forget that he was quite effective as a rookie, and there's still absolutely an opportunity for him to make a pretty big statement as a player, even next season, even if he's not the starter. And his play wasn't terrible when he was out there. It was just there were clear holes in his game. Now, Drake Thomas was a tremendous breath of fresh air for this defense, because I thought we were in big trouble when Tyrese Knight wasn't bringing it the way we were hoping in 2025. Drake Thomas, almost 100 tackles, 10 for a loss, which is insane playmaking. And he also had 8 passes defensed in coverage. And of course, I mean, I don't even need to tell you about what he did in the most recent game. He was one of our best players, graded incredibly well on every level. The interception, made another play in coverage, just all over the place. Really, really good, really, really strong development in 2025. And we're now at the point where it looks like he's going to be part of the near future. 73 PFF grade when all is said and done, which is great for a guy who I thought was just going to be a backup this year, who clearly the plan was for him to mostly be a backup this year, and then plans changed. So 73, all the playmaking, 100 tackles. It's worthy of condemnation or commendation for sure. Very, very cool stuff happening with Drake Thomas. Okay, edge rusher. Derek Hall picked up a sack in this game. Mafe, I thought, actually played pretty well. He actually played really well against the run and made a play tipping that pass that turned into the interception. So both guys played good, and both guys had workable seasons. But on the whole, we're still talking about two guys that needed to break out this year, and overall, I don't think you can say that they did. Derek Hall might have kind of broken out in the sense that he really improved his play against the run. I thought he was really good against the run this year, massive improvement there. So I'm not here to dump on the guy completely, but to go through a full season and only have 2 sacks, and ditto for Mafe. Hall missed a few games, by the way, for whatever that's worth. It is disappointing. And while there were plenty of other Seahawks that were getting sacks this season, it's not like they were racing Myles Garrett or TJ Watt to the quarterback every week. No, they were racing guys like Leonard Williams, Byron Murphy, and Uchenna Nwosu and DeMarcus Lawrence to the quarterback. Those guys are not all-time great sack artists at this point. So there were opportunities there, and they just didn't really deliver. They were adequate rotational edge rushers this season, and that's about it. So that was definitely a little bit of a disappointment. Don't think Mafe will be here next year. Derek Hall probably will be, but last year of his deal, he's really got to prove it that next year. Okay, cornerback. It's been a crazy season for Riq Woolen, but he may have played his best game on Saturday. I thought that he was great in coverage, and I saw a desire and will from him coming up in tackling and coming up in run support that I don't know if I've ever seen. So that means something coming from me because I'm a harsh critic of Riq Woolen. When I see him making mistakes, when I see him messing up, I am not afraid to say stuff. And some people say I'm overly critical of Riq Woolen, but what I saw from him in that Niners game was a different player with a different mentality. So he does actually end up with a over 61 PFF grade on the year, which is still not very good, but the early season woes really drug him down. And at the end of the day, if he can play with the same drive and desire in the postseason that he showed in this game, then I think we'll be fine. And I don't know if it's enough to pay him top of the league or close to top of the market money, but I got to say that somebody probably will, because the coverage stuff is still money in the bank. Despite all of our issues with some of the stuff he did this season, 12 passes defensed is very good. And the interceptions, they didn't come this year, but we know he's a ball hawk. It's not like Riq Woolen doesn't know how to pick off a pass. Witherspoon does end up with a PFF grade just below 90, but he had a great season. The main thing holding him back was just the fact that he only played, 12 or 11 games. So very, very good stuff from Witherspoon. Excellent season. All pro level play. He just didn't play enough games to make all pro. 72 tackles. Love what he's doing. So that is definitely going to be a guy we extend this offseason to top of the market money, and I'm ready for it. Nehemiah Pritchett, I thought, showed some signs of life this season. The Tampa Bay game obviously stands out as being something really, really ugly, but other than that game, when he got on the field, I thought he was okay. And maybe he can be part of this team going forward as a backup. I don't know. But it's not something that I would completely dismiss at this point. And Kobe Bryant didn't play this week, so there's nothing for him, but he had a good year overall. Not an amazing year, but I feel like there's a belief in this front office and this coaching staff that Kobe Bryant is very valuable. And there seems to be a concerted effort to re-sign him that I get the sense that a lot of Seahawks fans don't necessarily see. And at the end of the day, if Mike McDonald sees something really valuable with Kobe Bryant that he likes, that he doesn't want to lose, then I'm going to side with Mike McDonald and say that he probably knows what's up. So I'm down with that, but we will see where it goes. It just seems, it's interesting to me that the team seems more interested in re-signing Kobe Bryant than they are in re-signing players like Walker or Woolen. So it would seem anyway. We'll see which way things go, but good year for Kobe. Eman Wari, one of the best players for the Seahawks on Saturday against the Niners. 7 tackles, tackle for a loss, got pressure on Purdy on a couple plays. And he concludes a rookie season where he was great. He was all over the place, double-digit passes defensed, double-digit quarterback pressures, really good PFF grade. This is a 21-year-old rookie. And getting this much value out of a 21-year-old rookie kind of sort of playing a new position for him is a microcosm of how this team is so good. There aren't very many other teams in this league that are going to get that much out of a guy like Nicky Manwari, who is a flawed player. He does do things that you would prefer a defensive back not do, but we put him in the right position to be the best version of himself, playing that nickel corner spot. He learned quickly, and he was great. And I'm really excited for the future with Nicky Manwari. This is a guy who I was really into pre-draft. I was really into during the draft, and I felt like he was a great fit for McDonald, and so far, it's been awesome. And that's going to do it for Youth Watch Tuesday. Not much to say except great, right? Like, we got a ton of value out of these guys on rookie deals or equivalents, and that's why we're here where we are right now. Okay, I will see you guys later today. More videos coming soon. Everybody have a good rest of your day. Go Hawks, and more stuff coming.